Awesome. Great. Well, we have a very special program lined up today. We have a very special guest, Erica Leonor. And then we need you guys to stay tuned because at the end, we're going to have a very exciting announcement about our Pantheon party. So I know we've been teasing it a lot for the past little bit, but you guys are finally going to get the first details. This will be our big announcement as to this party, and Erica's going to get to play a part in it. So stay tuned for that. But I don't want to waste any time because Erica is such a phenomenal speaker and she has so much to share and relate to so many of us women. So today we have Erica Leonor. She is a national speaker, trainer, and success coach in the home service industry. She enjoys traveling the country to train business owners and their teams on financing, customer service, sales, leadership, and communication. She does all the things. She is currently a director of business development at Goodleap, providing high-level financing solutions to contractors and their customers. She serves on the board of directors for Women in HVACR, an organization that provides networking, mentoring, and education to women in the industry. And she also serves on the board of trustees for NATE, working to advance the technical skills and certification for HVACR technicians. She has a bachelor's degree in anthropology and enjoys traveling the world. Alongside her professional career, Erica has a strong belief in God and recognizes his hand in her life. She is the proud wife and mother, a cancer survivor, an outdoor enthusiast, and a lover of Lord of the Rings. So, Erica, welcome. Thank you so much for being here.
Oh my gosh, thank you so much, Emily. And I love Lady Titans. It's so fun to see everybody. And I just love jumping in whenever we can when we have these meetings to see all your beautiful faces and to, hang out in the chat. And now sometimes the chat gets blown up. So that's always fun too, to just talk that way. And so thanks everyone for coming. And I just want to let you know that I do have a lucky winner giveaway at the end of this today. So stay tuned for that. I'll let you know how you can enter to win the lucky winner giveaway. But yes, in addition to what Emily said, like I love the Lord of the Rings. In case nobody has seen my background before, this is how much I do love the Lord of the Rings. So if anyone was wondering what all my swords were, that's exactly where it comes from. So if you're ever in Utah and you want to come play Fruit Ninja, we just got to go buy some watermelons and we'll chop them up in the backyard. So I'm super excited about this today. And I definitely know that certain things that we talk about and share with each other today are very personal. And I know sometimes like people really do open up in these meetings and it sparks great conversation and growth for all of us. And so I just want you all to know this is a safe place to do that, because when you talk about resilience, a lot of times you do share situations or problems or things that we're all going through in life, the trials we face that are very vulnerable. And so if anybody feels like this connects with them in a certain way or wants to share, through the chat or anything like that, if this relates to them, that's just my hope and prayer that this can be a safe space for us to support each other and to be that network for each other. Because when all is said and done, part of resilience is having a good group of people to help you through the hard times. And it does break my heart when I see people that go through big struggles and they don't have a group like this of women or family or friends or a close network of people, because I know that exists out there. And so what a blessing it is for all of us to have each other, knowing that if any one of us reached out to anybody, if we've even never met, we could say, hey, I'm a Lady Titan and I want to be friends with you because I need you. And I know that we would all be like that for each other. So that's just really important to me for that. I'll go ahead and share my screen here. Make sure that this works. Emily, we're in business. Woohoo!
Business.
Awesome.
Yep.
All right. So first thing, I'll just introduce myself. I'm Erica. And as Emily said, I have a bachelor's degree in anthropology, which if you think about it, how do you go from anthropology, which is the study of people and cultures, to HVAC and plumbing and electric? So I have had a really fun journey of coming into the industry, but I do have a background. I've done lots of teaching, lots of coaching and training before I entered the industry. And so it was really fun to just be able to take that, but then find my niche of these are my people. And I'm so grateful that we've have this industry as women to be a part of this group and to be a part of this industry, to be able to apply our skills to this particular business. And so this is my husband, Giovanni. He's Dominican. I call him my Dominican, not my Dominicant. And so I like to have him, whenever I ask him to do the dishes or take out the trash, I'm like, you're a Dominican. You're not a Dominicant. And so I always like to tease him about that. And then this is my little daughter. Her name is Arwen, once again from Lord of the Rings. She's turning 3 next month. And she is obsessed with horses and ponies. And so there's a place close by my house where we take her about once a week to go ride the ponies. And this is the picture I have of representing my Lady Titan shirt of riding the ponies with her. So that was fun. But just to share a little bit of, many of you know this, but this last year was probably like the toughest year of my life in a way that I've never been like tried or tested this way before to go through something, which it was in January last year where I started to feel a lump grow on my breast, and I didn't know what it was. And so I was like, oh, maybe it'll go away. What's interesting is I had just finished like nursing. And so I was like, well, I just had my baby. I'm like, maybe it has something to do with that. Well, by February, it had basically grown extensively. And so, you know, when you go in and you got to get checked and like, oh, well, we need to order a mammogram or an ultrasound. And then from there, they're like, well, we need to order a biopsy. And then from there, we need to order an MRI. And it's like, you have to do so many tests before they finally tell you, like, oh, by the way, you have cancer. And so that's basically what happened. It was just kind of this long waiting process. And that unknown feeling of, what is this? Like, you don't get a direct answer because you don't have doctors wanting to throw stuff out of like, it could be this or this or this. They wanted to have a for sure answer. And so it took about a month. And I remember it was like 10:30 at night, and I got a notification on my health profile that they uploaded my diagnosis, that it was a stage 3 breast cancer. So without talking to my doctors, without talking to anybody, I just like found out like that's what it was. Even though I did have a suspicion that that's what it was, of course. And so I just remember that night, like it hit me, and I'm like, oh my gosh, here we go. Like, you'd have all these fears, like, is this going to kill me? What does this mean? What type is this? Like, what am I going to have to do to get over this? And I just had my baby. I didn't become a mom just to leave. And, you just have all of these thoughts and emotions and feelings. And, me and my husband were there, and we had our little baby, and I'm like, I don't want her to see me just having a breakdown, And so it's like, you try to be strong. And I just remember that moment where you're just kind of in shock. And I just remember like I had to go take a hot shower and just cry it out. Like, I just had to be somewhere gone and just kind of process it. And then the next day, we're like finally talking to doctors, and you get the process going. And about a month later, after we did a round of fertility, because chemo could prevent you from having more kids, we started chemotherapy. And throughout that, then we had the process of 5 months of chemotherapy, double mastectomy, 6 weeks of radiation, and then everything that can happen in between, setbacks, infections. There was a shortage of even the chemo. The chemo was on a shortage because the pharmaceutical companies weren't making enough money off of it, apparently. So they stopped producing it. And so it became a shortage. And my doctor pulled me in one day, and he said, Eric, I just want to let you know this might set you back a little bit for receiving your treatment. But he's like, the hard decision I have to make right now is the people that I'm treating who are we treating to heal, and who are we treating to prolong their life? And that hit me too. I was like, wow, he's like choosing me because he knows he can like cure this, hopefully, right? Versus he's just trying to give me a little bit longer of life to live. And so, all of these things go on, and you just battle through it, right? You're like, I'm going to stay positive. And I remember that there was a particular day when I was sitting getting my chemo, and I'd made a couple of friends who were also getting chemo that had breast cancer. And you're sitting there, like you're there for 4 hours, getting these drips, and you make friends and you got to talk, or else, once you get doped up on the Benadryl, you're kind of loopy. But until that happens, you talk. And so I don't remember what we were talking about. We were laughing about something. And there's this girl that walked in, and she sat down on one of the chairs, and She got hooked up. We had never met her before, so we all said hi. And we kind of just kept going on with our conversation. And pretty soon there was like a little pause in the conversation. And then she pipes up and she was like, how can you guys be happy when you have to go through this? Like, why are you guys laughing and smiling? Like, this is terrible. And it is terrible. It was. But what just touched my heart and hurt my heart the most was the fact that she didn't probably have the same kind of support or same faith in God, or she didn't have something that was helping her push through. And I keep praying for her every day that she's okay, because I've never seen her again. But that just made me think about, like, okay, how do we get through the struggles? How do we get through that being cheerful? How do we get through the hard times, whether it's health or cancer, or whether it's a marriage that's falling apart, whether it's a death of a close loved one, whatever trial we face, like, how do we choose to remain cheerful? How do we choose to remain on this path of moving forward, to not let it defeat us, and instead choose to embrace it as part of life? And so some of the things that as I went through cancer, I was like, okay, I need someone to help me through this. And I had two options. I could get a therapist or I could get a coach. And I said, I'm going to go with the coach route, because I feel like I kind of get the best of both worlds in a way, that she's kind of my therapist, but she was also a coach to help me get some of the goals that I had. And even though I was like, maybe this will kill me, but I'm still going to have goals. Like, I'm still going to have something to work for. I'm still going to be able to push forward. And one of the things that we talked about through this is, if things are too easy in life, like, don't get me wrong, I love it when life is good. I love it when it's smooth sailing. I love when everything is working in my favor. I love that, because then I feel like I can excel at my best. But when we are in that moment, do we start to take those things for granted? Like, if things are too easy, do we value that part of life as much? Do we appreciate the fact that if our car breaks down, we can go out and get it fixed or pay for a new one because we have money in the bank, or because we have good credit, or whatever it is? Like, do we take those things for granted? And I don't know why that picture's not coming up there. Sorry. Or do we try to avoid the struggles? Like, whenever something hard comes our way, do we push it away? Do we say, I can't do that, or this is too hard? Do we try to avoid it? And I was talking to my husband about this, and about just going through the struggle. And he was like, I feel like going through hard times, he went through a rough divorce from his previous marriage. He's gone through some hard times. He comes from a very poor country. Like, there were times where his stepmother locked the cupboards in the kitchen because she didn't want them eating her food, and he went hungry. And that breaks my heart when he tells that story, because it's like, wow, to like go hungry as a kid, and not have that kind of food, and for him to go through that, but he was like, I learned who I was in those moments of being hungry, or going through divorce, or going through the death of my father, or whatever it is. He's like, those struggles made me the person that I am today. And I chose to embrace them and overcome them, rather than letting them defeat me, or letting them dictate the life that I was going to have, let them dictate the kind of person that I was going to become. And so, has anyone had, like, maybe a close loved one, or maybe your child, go through something difficult, and you've said, I wish I could take that from you. I wish that I could help you through this. Like, I wish you didn't have to do this hard thing. And that happened to me as well. I remember the first day that I got, like, the really nasty chemo. It's called the Red Devil. It looks like they're shooting in, like, this red Kool-Aid kind of thing into you. And excuse me. And it's just like nasty poison, right? It's really nasty stuff. And like you could taste it. Like you can taste it in your teeth. You can taste it in your stomach. It's just nasty. And I remember I had gotten that chemo and it was a few days later and I was FaceTiming my dad, just crying because I felt so sick. Like I had never felt at a zero before in my life. Like I was alive, but I was dead kind of feeling. I don't know how to describe it. And I was FaceTiming my dad and he started crying, and my dad doesn't cry. Okay. Like probably like most of our dads, like they're tough cookies. They don't cry. He broke down crying and he said, "Erica, I wish I can take this from you. I'm so sorry." And I was like, "Daddy, I wish you could take it from me too, but just for a day because you have to give it back because this is mine. This is for me that I have to get through this." And so, yeah, there are times where I was like, "Please just give me a break. I just need one day, but then give it back to me because this is for me." But then I look at it from the perspective of my dad, where I actually wouldn't want to trade him spots because I wouldn't want to see my kid going through that. I wouldn't want to be him watching me go through that. I feel like that might even be harder than to go through it myself. And so I was like, "Daddy, no, just like talk to me, cry with me, like be here with me. That's what I need. But like this is my struggle. Like this is mine." And I just remember that I, from the very beginning, decided like this is going to help me become the kind of person that I really want to be, that God wants me to be, that I think I could be better to add value to this world in such a way. Like this is going to help me because I will let it. And so let's see if I can find this slide. Sorry. Where did it go? Well, I'll find it. There was some things that people said to me when I was going through this process. And I'm not saying this is like a bad thing or anything. It's very kind when people offer you support and value. But a lot of times people would say to me like, "Erica, everything happens for a reason." And in the moment you're like, "Really? Like, what's the reason?" Like in the moment when you're going through something difficult, like you don't know what the reason is. But what I want to say about that is, yes, things happen for a reason because you make the reason for it. Like, I don't think that bad things happen to us because we're being punished or, because the world is out to get us. I think life happens. And we have to decide what we make out of that. We have to make the reason. I'm a very faith-based person, so I'm going to share this because this is what helped me get through the hard times, is a couple of scriptures. So I'm just going to share them. "Search diligently, pray always, be believing, and all things shall work together for your good." That means even the hard things, if we make the reason, it can work together for our good. And it gives us experience. All of our afflictions are consecrated for our own gain, that we can make the hard times be something of value to us, to our lives. Like once you've gone through something hard and you've experienced something difficult and you've come out on top and you've gotten a new perspective or you've changed a behavior or you've started a new habit or you've done something, would you go back and trade that? And I know that's a really, really hard question because I know people on this call have gone through very, very difficult things where there's sometimes it's like, I would go back because I want to be with that loved one again that passed away. But those hard times that teach us something, that help us become the kind of person that we are today, knowing that we couldn't be that person if we didn't go through those hard times, would we trade it? Now, this is a picture here of all of my siblings who buzzed their heads with me when we had to shave our heads. And my dad buzzed his head. I had my husband and a couple of nephews. There was about 13 people when all was said and done that we had a head buzzing party. There was a lot of hair. But it was so supportive of everybody that what was so unique was that everybody else went first. And by the time it was my turn to shave off my hair, and I had long hair, I loved my hair. When I had to shave it off after I watched everybody else do it, I was like, let's get it done. Let's just do it. This will be fine. I didn't love being bald, I'll be honest. It wasn't my favorite thing. My head was always cold, and you don't have eyelashes, so your eyes are already watering. I don't think we appreciate our nose hairs either, because your nose is always running and you're like dripping snot all the time. I'm just being real. So I don't think we appreciate those little things until they're really gone, because we don't know how much it helps like just manage our face. Anyway, so I just love this picture. We call it our egghead picture. And these are just my siblings. And they all went through their own struggle with me during this process. They all had to go through the fact that I could die, or this could alter our whole life, or things could be different. And we all decided at the very beginning that we were going to make this into something good. That we were not going to let this defeat us, that we were going to have a good attitude. We were going to laugh and joke and still get together. We were still going to try and be normal as possible. And that's what helped get us through it. It was just having that mindset. And we decided, as soon as we got this, we decided in that moment, we're going to get through this and we're going to be happy doing it, whatever happens. And especially when those setbacks came on, when I got an infection and I landed in the hospital for 4 days, or my chemo was gone. Even when those setbacks happened, it's like, okay, like we're going to hang out for a moment, be disappointed, but we're going to keep moving on. Because struggles, I think, happen for you, not always to you, if you let them. Are we choosing to try and go around the struggles? Or are we just going to go through them? When we decide and we put in our mind like, hey, I'm going to be a better person, or I'm going to get through this in a certain way, when we decide that in our mind beforehand, it's going to affect how we do that. And there's so many things in my life, as I'm sure with everyone here, where you made up your mind, maybe when you were young or a teenager, that you were going to never do something. Like, for example, I made a choice when I was younger that I was never going to drink alcohol. And I remember I got peer pressured one day from a boyfriend. He was like, just drink with me, just come on. And I had a drink and I felt so sick. And I was like, why did I let this stupid guy, like, who I'm never going to end up with, like dictate something that I had decided when I was younger? And in a sense, that made it even more stronger for me to say, like, I'm never going to drink alcohol. It's just a personal choice. And I have never done it since, just that one time with that one drink. And I remember how it made me feel. I didn't like it, but I had made up my mind when I was young that it's carried with me throughout my whole life. But I've had to do that throughout my life too, even recently. Like, I'm going to be the kind of person that never does this, or that always does this as a mom, or as a business owner, or as a friend, or as a coworker, or whatever it is. Like, you decide up front the kind of person you want to be. And that's going to help you get through when you have to deal with something difficult, or somebody brings something into the situation that you're like, oh, wasn't planning on that. But you've already decided beforehand how you're going to come through that, how you're going to act, how you're going to think, how you're going to behave, how you're going to carry yourself, regardless of what gets thrown at us. Now, I do want to share a very vulnerable story from a girl that I used to babysit. when she was little. Since she was born, I was her babysitter as a teenager. Her and her two older sisters. And, you know, she's quite a bit younger than me, so I only babysat her for a few years before I graduated high school and I moved out. And she recently published a book called Holy Shift. And she talks about an experience that I had no idea about of her growing up, where she had been sexually abused by a family member since she was little, who made her watch pornography, who made her do things that are completely unacceptable, inappropriate, evil, and horrible to do to children or to anybody. And started making her masturbate at a young age, started making her do all of these things that she was so, as you can imagine, in turmoil growing up, that she had multiple suicide attempts, that she got into a behavior of lying, of, you know, not living a great life from such a young age, of not making the best choices, which when you go through something like that, you can imagine. She's young. She's only like 23 years old right now. Like, she's still very young. And anyway, she ended up getting married. She had a baby. She tried to have another baby. She had a miscarriage. Like, her sister was horrifically killed in a car accident by a drunk driver. Like, she's just been through some really tough times. And in her book, there was a section that hit me so strong. And I'm going to read part of it, and it's going to end with this quote on the screen here. She said, "There have been spots of sunshine along my journey, but when I try to reminisce on my teenage years, I remember an overwhelming attitude of anger. I was angry at the world, angry at my abuser, and angry that I would never be able to live a normal life again. I'd go to basketball practice and I'd get so frustrated at the tiniest of mistakes that I'd punch the brick walls in the gym. I would punish myself over and over until my knuckles were bruised and bleeding. I would belittle myself with thoughts like, see, you can't do anything right, Brianna. You're never good enough. You're someone to be ashamed of. Maybe it's time that you went away forever." How sad that she would have to go through this. Then she says, "I began to see no way out. If this was the way my life was going to be, I didn't want to live it anymore. But there's an important distinction to be made right here. Yes, I became painfully suicidal. Most of my thoughts began to flood with ways that I could escape. But then I realized something. I didn't want to die. I just wanted life as I knew it to end." That she finally had this epiphany or realization that she was like, no, I don't want to die. I just can't continue living in this cycle of what's been happening to me and making it dictate the kind of person I am. I can't do that. I have to change. And I think that if a young girl like that has the power to make that switch, I think that's very powerful and very inspiring to all of us. Even though I know all of us have been through hard times too, that we probably made a decision similar. And maybe we've never had thoughts of wanting to commit suicide or anything like that. Maybe that's not been our personal journey. But has there been a moment in your life where you have felt, my life as I know it needs to change? Something needs to be different. I can't keep living like how I'm living if I'm ever going to be successful, or if I'm ever going to change, or if I'm ever going to get what I want, if I'm ever going to be who I want to be, I can't keep living how I'm living. That's so powerful to me, and I hope it resonates with somebody here too, that if your life has ever been in that, or if it's in that right now, like, something's got to change. Let's make that change. Let's have the power and the strength and the courage to say, I'm done feeling like this, or living like this, or thinking like this. And I'm going to change whatever it is, my thoughts, my actions, my behavior, how I carry myself. Because if somebody like Brianna can do that after everything she's been through, I think we can also have the power We do. We can find it in ourselves to do that too. And so with that, I also want to bring up the idea that there are different kinds of struggles. The first kind of struggle is things that happen to us that are out of our control, right? Like cancer. I would never say, give me cancer so I can become better. Like, I'm not going to ask for that, sorry. Or make something hard happen to me. I'm never going to say that, but life happens. Or other people make choices that affect us in a difficult way. But there's a second kind of struggle. The struggles that we cause to happen to ourselves. Now, maybe this could be taken in the sense like, oh, I made a bad choice, and so this is why I got that. But I want to focus on the second kind of struggle is something we do to ourselves in the sense that, for example, when we have a goal, let's say to run a marathon. So I know I saw Angie on here. Angie runs races, okay? And I know she just did a half marathon, and I know she's planning to do more. Is it a struggle to train and to eat healthy and to run every morning and to like prep for that kind of a race, to run a marathon? Like, that's not something easily done. Like, you can't just wake up today and be like, whoa, I'm going to do it. There is something to be said for the struggle you have to go through to be to the point where you can finish that marathon. Or for many of us here that maybe own our own businesses, we chose that struggle. We chose to start a business. We chose to go through the pain of growth and hiring and retaining and providing great employee experiences to customers, to all of these things. Like, we chose that struggle. And every time you go through that, you are building a business and you're becoming better. And so a lot of times struggles come into our life because we pick a goal or we pick something that we want. Like, I want to buy that new house. Great. Probably can't just wake up tomorrow and say, woo, I'm going to drop $1 million on a house because the economy is so good. Like, probably not going to happen. You're going to have to go through the struggle of working a next job or saving up your money or doing whatever it is that you need to do to be able to afford the house. Just an example. I would love it if somebody here was like, no, that's not my struggle. I'm like, great. Like, that's awesome. But there is something to be said for going through a little bit of that struggle to grow, to become, to reach a higher level of yourself, of your potential, of the ways that you are able to add value and affect this world for better, to bless the lives of other people, to help other people receive joy in their lives. I think one of the biggest struggles that we can also face is the FOMO struggle. Last year, when I had to stop traveling, going to conferences, seeing all my friends, speaking, training, like doing all these fun things that I had planned for, I really felt like all the doors were being closed on me. I felt like I was being shut out of opportunities. I felt like I couldn't do anything except just get through this moment, which is true. Like, I had to change my focus, right? I had to focus now on getting better. But there was still that FOMO struggle of, if anyone doesn't know what FOMO is, it's the fear of missing out. Like, totally felt like I was missing out on so much. And this mindset actually had to change as well. There came a day where I heard an acronym called JOMO, which is the joy of missing out. And when I heard that, I was like, okay, I'm going to have joy of missing out this year. And one of my friends told me that quote that's like, hey, when a door closes, a window opens, or something like that. You guys know what I'm talking about? I don't know exactly how that quote goes, but anyway, so I started getting into that mindset. Okay, like, there's joy of missing out. Like, I'm still going to be happy. I'm okay. Just because a door closed, it doesn't mean that something else will open up. Doesn't mean that opportunities are shut off to me forever. It doesn't mean that I'm going to be like this forever. It means that there's timing, right? Like, when I'm back at it, I can jump right back in. And I'm very grateful for that, that I needed that in that moment, because I started to feel really sad at the fact that I couldn't do all the things I wanted to do. And so for everybody here, like if we have this fear of missing out, or that we're not getting the opportunities, or we're not able to do everything that we want to do, count your blessings in the moment, right? Hey, there is joy. Like I got to spend a lot of time on my recliner, snuggling my baby, watching Moana, right? Like, yes, we watched a lot of Disney, okay? But guess what? She was next to me and we were together. That was so joyful for me because I couldn't do anything. I was just kind of a slug, you know? And so there are those things that you can always find, those little pockets of sunshine, even if we feel like we're not getting everything we want to do. And guess what, you guys? So many windows have opened. As soon as I've been starting to get through my treatments and finishing up with everything, so many opportunities have opened up to me that I'm so grateful for, that I'm so excited to participate in, that I feel even extra blessed, because I was like, maybe this wouldn't have come to me if cancer would have happened, because it wasn't the right time. But I decided to make a reason out of it. I decided to have that mindset. I decided to think that way. And so I want to share 4 things really quickly. When I broke it down, what helped me and that I feel are universal truths that could potentially help everybody get through the struggles, big or small. The first one is people. Get yourself some cheerleaders and get yourself some coaches. I loved it. I had people cheering me on. Erica, you've got this. You can do this. How are you? What do you need? Flowers, presents, gifts, dinners. Like there were people around me that I'm so grateful for. Even people that prayed for me, right? Like I'm just grateful for that, because every little piece helps. Like get some people. And if you don't feel like you have people, become the kind of person that you can be the person for somebody else. And when you become the person for other people, you will see that those people also become your people. Get some coaches, people to help mentor you and help you grow. There's a difference. You got people cheering you on. You got people that your accountability and helping you grow, your coaches. Once again, I believe in God. I have a very strong faith. And I'm not scared to share that. If I did not have faith, if I did not have God in my life, I don't think I could have gotten through it. That was such a big anchor for me. If you don't believe in God or have a different kind of God, that's okay. What I'm asking is have something bigger to believe in. Have something to hold on to have faith in. The third one is mindset. You've got to decide now. Here's how I'm going to be. Here's how I'm going to become the kind of person I want to be. I'm going to act a certain way, or I'm going to communicate a certain way. Mindset is practiced. You don't just wake up one day and all of a sudden you're Tony Robbins. Like you practice mindset. What you say to yourself in your head, what you say to other people. These kind of things, these decisions you make are practiced. The fourth one, always have a vision of something that you want to achieve. If you don't have anything you're working for, if you're just living day to day, if a hard time hits, if a struggle hits, it's going to be harder to get through it because you don't have something to look forward to or to work on. And guess what? Even though, like, if I would have gotten a diagnosis that said, Erica, you've got a year to live, I still would have had a goal. I still would have had something to work forward to. Even if it's something as small as like, I'm going to declutter my house. I'm going to clean out my underwear drawer. Like, I don't care. Like, have something you're going to work for. Could be big, it could be small. I'm going to go to the homeless shelter and help. I'm going to adopt an animal, or I'm going to go to the pet shelter. I mean, what is something that you have a vision that can help you in normal life and through the struggles of life to help you get through things? Now, I said I watched a lot of Moana, Okay. And so I'm going to bring a little bit of Moana into this here. This was my daughter's first birthday because, yes, she loves it still. But there's a song in Moana that I think is very touching and powerful. It's when Moana is beat and she feels down and her grandma appears to her, through the ancestral ties. She sings this song. It says, "Sometimes the world seems against you. The journey may leave a scar, but scars can heal and reveal just where you are. The people you love will change you. The things you have learned will guide you. And nothing on earth can silence the quiet voice still inside you. And when the voice starts to whisper, 'Erica, you've come so far. Erica, listen, do you know who you are?' That just touches me every time. We all have battle scars, but we also have a light that gets us through it. And so find out what that light is of yourself. What is your why? That little girl is my why. Sorry, you guys. She gives me my values. She helps me become the person I want to become. The experiences that I want to have everything to do with her. I'm looking for resources, for ways that I can provide a good life for her, build relationships for her. I'm grateful for her. She has become my biggest why. And I hope that you all can find that for yourselves, because that will get us through the hard times. So I did not plan on this. Oh my goodness. Sorry, everyone. But each one of you has so much strength and power in your personal lives and who you are and the influence you have on other people. That once again, if you're to the point in life where it's like, I just want something a little better, I want something a little different, I hope that something in here could help guide you to that point. And so one of the things that really helped me go through this was gratitude. I know we've talked about gratitude before on LadyTitans, and it is so powerful. And I have so many notebooks. I have random little notebooks, I have big notebooks, I got planners, I've got all kinds of stuff where every single day I have a gratitude practice. And so when I was going through everything and I was like, I want to design my own gratitude journal. Like I want to put the things that I love to do in a journal so I can have it for myself. So I basically made this for me. But then I decided to go ahead and be like, maybe somebody else could use this. So I was like, I'll figure out how to put it on Amazon. So I put it on Amazon. But I have one that I would love to give away to somebody here today. And so the way that we're going to do this is whoever has the fastest typing fingers, okay? Whoever's got the fastest typing fingers. So get out your little chat bots, get out your fingers, flex them, get them moving around here. There you go. Get all ready. I'm going to see if somebody, when I talked about the 4 things that helped me, first person to write all 4 of them down is going to get this little journal. I'm going to mail it to you. Emily, you're going to have to help me with the chat here.
Oh, I think we might have a winner already.
We got a winner? Winner, chicken dinner. Who do we got?
Natalie Pechtel said people, mindset, God or your faith, and the vision. That's right.
Natalie.
Christina,
Awesome.
very close. Angela, very close right after that. But yeah, I feel like they were taking notes. They had that down.
They did. They knocked that out. Thank you.
Great
Okay,
job, Natalie.
so, Natalie, will you please, I'll put my email address in here. Will you please email me your address? I'll get this shipped out to you. One of the reasons why I did this, and I hope it helps you, Natalie, with your gratitude practice, is I've designed it in such a way that you have a morning, just like a few little boxes here in the morning that you fill out, and then an evening one. So there's like a little sun and a little moon. Just how you start your day, how you finish your day, and just takes a couple minutes. So it's not meant to be like, whoo, I got to spend an hour on this. It's just to get that practice in. But it's been so grounding and so helpful for me to just like, no matter what comes, like I've always got evidence of the good things in my life. And it's very powerful for our brains to get evidence. And so journaling, I think, is a great way for us to tell our subconscious, because our subconscious always likes to keep us safe, right? Like what we're used to. But when you give it evidence of, hey, this is all the good things in my life, your brain starts to focus on that a little bit more. It helps you get through the hard times. I also have a newsletter. Oh, shoot. I don't know why this isn't popping up. I'm going to try and get this QR code up here.
And we can also link out anything we need to on our follow-up email, Erica.
Oh, perfect. That would be awesome. I don't know why some of the pictures weren't working on here. That breaks my heart. But I do have a newsletter that I write called Moral of the Story, where it's just a little life lesson. And let's see if it will come up right here. It's just a little story that I tell with a life lesson of like, hey, try this or do this. Like, what's the moral of the story? And it's something that I'm basically trying to just keep myself accountable to, because I want to be a writer. And I have like an outline for a book, but I have a hard time writing. And so I'm like, okay, how do I push through this struggle? Like, how do I become the writer? Well, you got to write, Erica. So that's where this has started and where it comes from. So I think I got it refreshed there. So there's a little QR code if you wanted to subscribe to it. It's brand new. We don't have a lot of stuff, but it's one of my goals. Once again, I have a vision, something I'm looking forward to. I want to become a writer and publish my book, but I got to start with something small, and that's just a little newsletter. So with that being said, I know we have a little bit of time left. We can go ahead and chat or do a Pantheon announcement or whatever you want, Emily.
Yeah, well, Erica, thank you so much for sharing your story and being vulnerable. I know there's so much, maybe we haven't had that exact journey, but I think there's something that we all can look inside to. And like one of the things that I wrote down, struggles happen for you. And so when you can have that mindset of, hey, this is a struggle, this is something I'm going to go through, but I'm going to come out so much stronger, and like it's going to do this for me, and kind of I might have missed out on these other things, but the joy of missing out allowed me to do this. Even if it's just to breathe and have some rest in a season. And so thank you so much for sharing your story. If people wanted to reach out to you in another way, you put your email there in the chat, and is that the best way? Is there another way people might get a hold of you?
You can email me. I'll put my phone number. Like, I don't care if you call me, you want to chat. Like, I'm all for more friends. So I'll put that in too real quick.
Well, thank you so much for sharing that. And I know a lot of people here in the chat was like, oh, so strong, so inspiring. So thank you for sharing your story. We really appreciate that. So we will link Erica's email and her cell phone number and her newsletter, The Moral of the Story, in our follow-up email. So but I'm also so glad to hear Erica's story, but also because, like we said, you guys have hung around till the end. We are so excited to announce our Pantheon party. And one thing why I'm so glad that Erica is here is because this year we're partnering with Women in HVACR and Women in Plumbing and Piping. And so it's not just about just Lady Titans, or like Erica said, that resilience that we all have. We're all women in these trades trying to empower and uplift others. And so we are going to be having a dual party trio party, if you will, between the three organizations, the 80s ladies in the trades, and we're going to be roller skating. Okay. We're going to be at a roller rink. On September 30th, it's the first official night of Pantheon. It's after kind of their kickoff party and all that good stuff. It'll be 8 to 11 p.m. It is $20 a ticket, okay, but that will include your roller skates, tons of swag. You're going to get a t-shirt. Um, so much of a good time. There is going to be limited space, okay? So we are going to ask everyone to secure their spot. So that $20 will kind of help just secure your spot, get you some skin in the game to make sure um because there's limited space, we don't want spots to go out to someone who's not going to actually be there. But our three organizations have been talking. We've got tons of things planned, and we're so excited. So we wanted you guys to be the first to hear about it, see about it. The actual registration link will be live in a few days. So be watching the social medias, your emails, all that about when you can actually sign up. But we're so excited for this event and so excited to partner with women in HVACR and women in plumbing and piping because we all have the same mission is to build that community, to provide resilience and strength and support for each other, all women in the trades. So yeah, we're super excited. Erica, is there anything you wanted to add on behalf of women in HVACR?
Oh, we're just super, super excited for this. And I got to tell you, Emily and the Lady Titans team are like, they're party planners. Like, this is
It'll
going
be
to be
good, y'all.
epic. And there's going to be some FOMO in this one. So, we want to be there. And I missed the one last year, which was the pajama party. And so I know a lot of you were able to go that one, which was so fun. So, once again, if it's a JOMO thing, like, let me know. I'll send you some slippers. Okay. Like, we'll make sure you're included, however it happens. But we hope you all can come.
No, for sure. Well, we're so excited for this partnership. Like I said, be watching for the link to actually register. Last year, the party, we had a cap on 200 people and we filled up very quickly. Okay, so we have a higher capacity at this point, but we do want to don't wait. Okay, go ahead and sign up. It's going to be great. You will have some serious FOMO. It's going to be a good time. So, all right. Well, we have a few things coming up. I want you guys to save the date for our next Titans Lounge on Wednesday, August 14th. And then our next Spotlight series will be August 20th with Jeremy Yancey. He is a leader and has a great talk on the 4 types of employees that I'm so excited to hear and share with you guys. He's a new author. And so tons of great things coming that way. We also have our link to Pantheon and our leading lady registrations and a member survey. Now we sent out an email, we sent out a survey. We just want to hear your guys' feedback. What do you guys want content-wise from these Spotlight series, from the Lady Titans Lounge? Is there something else that we could be doing? We want to hear from you guys because this community is for you guys. So there in the chat is a link to all of those different things to sign up for Pantheon, to nominate a leading lady, someone who deserves the recognition and who we should just give a shout out to, someone doing great things in the trades. And then that member survey. If you don't know if you filled it out, go ahead, fill it out again. We'll take your feedback. It'll count twice as much, okay? But we want to hear from you guys to make sure that we are providing a community and a culture and resources that are going to apply and be beneficial to you guys. So, well, we will end it out a few minutes early. I know Erica can stay around for a few more minutes if anyone did want to stay on and ask a question, but we will also be sending her information in the follow-up. So thank you, everyone. Happy Tuesday. Have a great rest of the day and rest of the week, and we'll see you next time. Bye.
Thank you.